Like, man, I ain't even got my GED. Like, girl, you grown, you need to get this. Hey YouTube, I'm your fave nurse B. Today I want to talk to you all about how you can pass a GED based off the experience that I have and just the knowledge that I know and people that I've talked to who have taken and passed a GED. So if you haven't already, I want you to go watch my Why Did I Become an LPN over RN video, and also watch the Why I Stopped Being a CNA video. And go ahead and try out my How to Get into Nursing School video. All those videos pretty much give you a background of me, your fave nurse B, and also it gives you the how to get a nursing school video. It goes over like the whole process of everything I did to get into nursing school. And a big part of that was I had to get my GED. So this is for all of you out there who have anxiety about it, you tried it before, you haven't been able to pass, or you just don't, like you just kind of feel overwhelmed because you're like, okay, like I want to be a nurse and I know it's gonna take me all this time to do it, and I don't even have my freaking GED. Like, that's how I felt. Like, I got all this way to go and I don't even have my GED. Like, what the heck? Or you feel like, I know once I get into it I can pass this class, I can go become a nurse, but I got to get past this GED. You all can do it. Okay, I got my GED November 2013, so I was 23 at the time. At the time that I took it, it was, they were transitioning from doing paper tests to doing online tests, and then also it was still called the GED at that time. Right now it's called the HiSET. I was right there at the deadline, like as far as, like it was only such amount of time that you could do the paper test, like it stopped. So I had to do the online test, and then I couldn't find any tests in my area. So I had to drive out like a whole 50 minutes outside of St. Louis to go take my test twice. I had to take half of it and then the other half. So anyways, let's get right into this video. First thing is make sure that you learn about the test. So go to the HiSET, like their generic website. Make sure that it's actually their website, and just it's probably gonna be like a tab of like about the test, something like that. It's gonna tell you that it has, you know, math, science, history, a writing portion, and English. So you need to look at that, and it's gonna tell you, okay, so in order to do math, it gives you such and such amount of time to do it. English, such and such amount of time to do it. Writing, you get just as amount of time to do it, and then what you have, like kind of like a sample of it. Like, learn as much about it as possible. The more you learn about it and know about it, the less anxiety that you'll have, because you'll know what to expect when you get there and when you start studying for it. So learn about the test, especially in your area. Learn about, okay, is everything going to be online, or can I do paper? I don't think you can do paper anymore. Like I said, when I took it, I believe the deadline to do paper was right when I took it, so I don't think they have any paper tests at all anymore. But learn about the test. And then secondly, what I want you to do is write out your plan. This is really for people who believe that if you write things down, it happens. People who are goal oriented, or people who have maybe anxiety or things like that. Write down what you want to do, and write down what you see happening for your future. So for me, like, I was okay, I'm gonna get my GED and pass it by this date, and then I'm going to go ahead and apply for school on this date, and I'm gonna get into school, and then once I get done with school, it's gonna take me some amount of time to do it. Like, I'm gonna be able to do da 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 da. Like, I am a type of person, like, if I write it down, like, I feel more comfortable. Like, okay, I got my plan, I'm gonna get it done, y'all. But of course, everything that you write down, everything that you plan doesn't always go according to the plan. But for me, like, the more that I'm able to write it down, like, the more I'm able to like really like feel it happening in my life. So write down what you want to accomplish, and just have conviction in it. Just know that you can do it, know that you can accomplish it, but write it down and kind of you don't have to give yourself like specific, like, oh, I gotta get this done now. If I don't get it done by that time, like, I'm gonna be a failure. Like, no. But to me, it's just fun to write things down and think about the future. So that's why I would say do that next. And then third, okay, this is getting right into the meat of it. You need to give yourself a deadline. You could go, and I'm telling you, Before I got my GED, I was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it, I gotta study for it, I don't feel like studying, I know I'm gonna have to do this, da, 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 da. What pushed me to do it was because I knew that I wanted to apply for the nursing program for the March semester. And so it was already, like I said, November 2013, and I had to apply by like January to get into the program for nursing school. And so I was like, okay, now I know I got to get my GED by a certain amount of time so I can go ahead and apply for school. And it pretty much, I was forced to do it in November, like in order to meet the deadline before the end of the year, especially since they were transitioning from GED to HiSET, from paper to online. Like, I had to get it done. And so when you give yourself a deadline, when you give yourself something like set in stone, you are going to get it done. At least with me, that's the type of person I'm like. If you just kind of just let it be out there like, oh, I'm going to take the test at some point, whenever I feel comfortable, you're never going to feel comfortable. Trust me. You're not going to feel comfortable until you get it done and you see your results that you pass. So give yourself a deadline. Now, in order to give yourself a deadline, you have to put some money out there. You have to just go ahead and go on there and learn about the test and see, okay, when is the next available test in my area? Pay for it. Put your money down, put your money where your mouth is, pay for it, boom, that's your deadline. Now, I would say if you haven't done any studying at all, give yourself like 4 to 6 weeks out. You don't want to go too far out. If you go too far out, then you will become kind of like, oh, I got time to do, I got time to study. Now, if you give yourself too short of a time, you might not have enough time to study, and you might have too much, like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna pass, I don't have that much time, like it's gonna be too much anxiety. So it kind of goes off of like how you are, but I would say 4 to 6 weeks is a good enough time to give you enough time to study, and it's kind of far out enough so that you know, okay, I got time to do this, and it's kind of close enough so that you're not like, oh my gosh, like I got time, I can do it later. So 4 to 6 weeks minimum. And then when you pay for it, make sure that you look and you see, you kind of make the decision next. So that's step number 4, is make the decision of how you want to do the test. So I believe this is still the case, y'all. You can do like the full all 5 subjects, or you can do like English and writing this day, and then math this day on its own, and then do science and history on another day. Like, you can kind of like separate how you do the test, or you can do all of it in one sitting and get it done. So plan out how you want to do it. I don't know as far as price how it all goes, you all. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't looked on the website. In doing this video, I have not done my research, but you do your research. So yeah, decide how you want to take it. Do not spread it out too much as far as like, oh, I'm gonna do my math at the beginning of the month and I'll do English at the end of the month. No, try to make it kind of closer. But of course, like the test dates and all that, some of them fill up too fast and you just have to do what you have to do. So decide how you want to do the test. And then my next tip, so this is, y'all know I'm bad at number and stuff. My next tip would be this is how you actually study. So get the book. Now, I just use like the Pearson VUE book. Get them on Amazon. If you don't have the money to get them, go to the library. Now, at the library, those are considered like reference books, so you can't check them out and go home, but you can probably check them out or just use them for like 2 hours while you're there. That'll be your time to go to the library, sit there and study for 2 hours or whatever the case may be, unless you don't have the money to like, get it from Amazon or whatever. So get the book. And there's going to be like 2 practice tests in the back of the book. Take the practice test. Time yourself. This is a timed test. You want to make the practice as close of a simulation to the actual test as possible. So make sure that you time yourself doing it. So say for instance, like the math gives you 45 minutes. Boom. Put on your phone, 45 minutes. Sit down without any distractions and just do the test. Now, after you get done doing the practice test, you can go through and you can get an idea. Okay, I got this wrong, I got this wrong, I got this wrong. This means I need to work on this section. Go, and once you know what sections you need to focus on, you might need to focus on everything. I mean, let's be for real. If you've been out of high school for a long amount of time or whatever, you might need to focus on everything. But this gives you a better idea of where you really need to put your focus at. So, okay, you go back in the book and go into the math section and you just start studying. Now, I would say you really need to, if you're giving yourself 4 to 6 weeks to take the test, you really need to give yourself, I would say, like anywhere 30 minutes. This is like real low. 30 minutes to 2 hours a day of studying. Just so you can just keep it in your mind, keep it repetitive. Now, if there comes a day where you just know, okay, I cannot do any of this, like I just don't have the time to do it, even just giving yourself 5 to 10 minutes of looking at the material and making sure that it stays fresh in your mind is going to be helpful for you. Even if you have to just even think about a math question or think about, you know, grammar or anything like that. I know math is a big thing that people feel like, oh, I just can't do this math. I just can't do it. How do you know you can't do it until you actually study, until you actually do the test, until you actually see where you need to focus your energy? You have to, I'll talk about it more. But anyways, so once you do that, once you study for about 30 minutes to 2 hours a day for, I would say, maybe 2 weeks, then you go back and you do another study test. Now, you don't have to do all the study tests within the book. You can go online, just Google GED study test math, GED study test science, and then you might pull up maybe 10, 15, 20 questions. Give yourself, I don't know, about 10 minutes to do them, and then just sit there and do them and then look at the answers. Even if you get the answer right, still look at the answer and see why you got it right. Look at the process of how they answered it. You might have got it right just off of fluke. You might have got it right with the wrong math. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might have got it right just because you did something, you just got it right. Even if you got it right, look back and see how they broke down the question, and you'll be able to be like, okay, oh, I did get it right, but dang, like, I didn't really do my math right. I don't know how I even got this right, but this is how they saying I should do it. So that way, you know, okay, when I get to another question like this is how I should set up my problem or whatever, so that I can actually answer it. So like I said, even if you don't have the full 30 minutes, 2 hours, whatever the case may be per day to do it, do something each day. Do something. Okay, so then my next tip is, like I said, after about 2 weeks of hardcore studying each day, you've done it, you're great. Now it's time to retake that practice exam. So either retake the practice exam or just do a totally new, like, full-on practice exam. I suggest just do a totally new one. Do that, time yourself again, and then see, okay, wow, like, I've really improved on this section, but I need to work on this some more. Or I really improved on this, but I feel comfortable with it, but I think I do need to still do some more questions to see if I can do it. Do better. Okay, so you have to constantly, like, keep checking in, like, okay, I did good, but let me go back and try some more questions, or let me do this. It's just all about repetitive questions and explanation of the answers, and doing everything. Keep writing everything over and over again. Keep keeping things within your mind fresh and fresh and fresh. That's the best way to study for the GED, is that you have to actually do it. Just do the questions. That's the best way to study, okay? I'm telling you. It gets rid of test anxiety, because you're sitting there as if you're taking the test. You're timing yourself. You're staying focused. You're doing everything as if you're actually taking the real test, and that will help you with a huge amount of test anxiety. It will help you with just being familiar and being comfortable with the material, okay? So then my next tip is to use your resources. YouTube is a great resource. I forgot the name of it, this girl that does math, but I'll put a link in the description box. I think she does, like, mostly, like, higher math, but I'm not sure. I'll put a link in the description box, but she's, like, really good at explaining stuff. Then also, y'all, like, I'm telling you, there's so many resources. The library, they have so many classes about how to study for GED, and then also community colleges are always giving free classes where there's some type of instructor, somebody that knows this material, that can sit there with you and go through certain problems with you. You just have to put in the time. Just put in the time and you can do it. I know it's tedious, y'all feel like doing it, like, oh, it's too much. But it's free resources out there. YouTube, community college, and libraries are free resources. If you're here in St. Louis, the Met Center, where I actually went to school at for my LPN, in that building, I believe, like, the lower floor, they have a GED like prep class in that building, in the Met Center. So it's all around you. You just have to put in the work. Now, me, I didn't go to a, like, class or whatever to help, because I was like, I don't got time for that. I'm gonna make myself do this. So I just sat down and studied by myself. But use your resources. If you're the type of person who needs someone to go through it with you, then use your resources. Just do it. I mean, even if you just put in, like, free GED test prep, and then whatever city you're in, and if something will come up, you can call them, get an idea of what you got to do to get into the class. Sometimes you have it where you have to do, like, a 5-day-a-week thing, or you can just come in whenever you need help. It just depends. Just do your research and reach out there and get help when needed. So this is my last tip. Most importantly, what I want you all to get from this is that you have to remain positive. Like I said, I went through it. I was 23 years old. I had already went to college. I went to college early, dropped out of high school and went to college early, and never had a GED. I was like, oh shit, I gotta get a GED. I had a freaking college education, and I didn't even have my GED to show for it. Like, I didn't have nothing. I felt like I was at the bottom of the barrel, you all. But it's possible. Now I am a nurse. I'm working towards becoming an RN and going further in my education. So you all, you can do it. Remain positive and stop saying I'm bad at math. Stop saying I'm a bad test taker. Just leave that where you started it off. Leave that in 2017, y'all. Like, leave that behind you and move forward. Okay, like, I know that it's a big anxiety, especially, you know, with math. It's a big thing for people, but you can do it. Okay, you can do it. I've once felt like, man, I ain't even got my GED. Like, girl, you grown, you need to get this. Like, it's okay. Get it and be done with it and be an inspiration for somebody else. Because trust me, there's a whole lot of people out there that do not have their high school diploma and do not have a GED. They out there. Trust me, it's a lot of people. You'd be surprised. But you can do it, you all. You can pass. You will pass. If you have any more specific questions, let me know. You can email me at yourfanurseb@gmail. Follow me on Snapchat, and then also you can follow me on Instagram. Follow me on my other channel. What is it? Stay Forever True. I just have like mommy vlogs, hair videos, life videos, vegan, vegetarian, like I have all like crazy stuff over there. But anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope this was helpful for you all. Like I said, let me know if you have any more questions. Overall, you just need to become familiar with the material, test yourself, go back and forth of studying and testing, studying, testing. Give yourself enough time and put your money where your mouth is and just pay for the class. Give yourself some type of realistic deadline to complete it, and you will pass. Now I have a question for you. Did you get your GED? Are you planning on getting your GED? If so, when are you going to do it? Also, I just want to know if there's any other videos that you all want to see. All right, peace.